What up, watch peeps? Today we're going to take a look at a watch that is very extra. Stella is a brand spanking new company, well, since 2019 anyway. I consider that brand spanking new. They operate out of New York and they are a very fashion forward company, and you're going to see that in this watch. What we're going to look at is the Stella. I'm not sure this watch model actually has a name. Each colorway has a name, but on their website I could not find a name for the overall model. It's very strange. Anyway, what we have is the Dress Blues colorway, and there is a lot to look at, so let's get to it. I'm Pete, and we are Chillin' with Watches. Alright, wrist check. Today I am wearing the Woolbrook Skin Diver, and this is another Sweep Seconds quartz watch. Really cool watch. Look for a review on this one coming up soon. But what we're looking at today is the Stella, and I was going to skip the box for this one because, boxes are kind of boring, but there is something cool in there, so let's check it out. First thing you get is this leather pouch with a little book, and I think the instructions are in here. But there's a bunch of other stuff too, just little New York quotes and references. Kind of neat. And then inside you will find this leather box, leather zip box. I don't know if you call this a box. And you'll have the watch here. Before we get to that, what I want to show you is what's down here. Let me dig this out. So what's in here is the case back opener. And man, this sucker is heavy. And you'll see on the case back the indents where these fit into for removing the case back. But you could hurt somebody if you threw this at them. And sadly, it's got better grip than the crown on the actual watch. Also in the packaging, you'll find these straps that it comes with. There is this quick release kind of distressed leather strap. It's actually pretty nice. Feels pretty heavy duty. Breaks in real nice. The other strap is a single pass. Kind of like a canvas NATO, I guess. These are actually pretty cool. I don't know that I dig this blue. I guess it goes with this watch, but again, this denim theme that I'm not really a huge fan of. So let's look at the watch. So the first thing that jumps out at you is the dial, the linen dial. I don't love this dial, and it took me a little bit to figure out why. At first, I thought it was because because it looks like denim, and I don't want my watch to look like jeans. But clearly, based on this watch pillow, that is an inspiration for them. I was speaking with a fellow experienced watch enthusiast, and he pointed out how linen dials look really nice when they're subtle, and this is not that. And I think that's it. It's extreme, it's severe. Those are very good adjectives to describe this whole watch's design. Keep in mind, any criticism I'm making of this watch is just based purely on design. We all have different style and taste, and this might just not be to mine. That doesn't mean it's a bad watch. Quite the contrary, I actually think it's a very solid and well-built watch, but I'm just not feeling the design. So the next thing that jumps out to me is the funky font applied indices. Even numbers with quirky little markers in between, which I actually find kind of charming. The handset is pretty cool, and it's got this double arrow second hand that I also quite like. Let's take a closer look at that. It's actually a pretty cool second hand. You'll see the counterbalance has a white arrow, and the other end has a red arrow. Now, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of big booty drooping case back. So let's take a look at this thing in profile, because that's where things really get interesting. So I don't think this watch has to have this drooping case back. It's almost like they went out of their way to make it that way. I don't like how the mid case is super thin and then it flares out to these fat lugs. It really then makes this whole bottom part look like a giant hanging case back. And then they added this unnecessary black PVD band around here that really draws the eye to it and exaggerates the effect even more. I'm really not sure what they were going for. Now we can flip it around and take a look at the crown side. And it's got a signed crown. And I don't know if that's enamel that it's filled with, but I actually think that's really cool feature by itself. It would be a nice little touch. Looking at the crown from the top down, you'll see it's got this red groove. And as I alluded to before, the crown grip is not so great, and I think this groove is the reason. It makes this top end of the crown where your fingers want to grip extremely smooth and hard to turn. And let's see, if we can actually get it. Now, if you look at the bottom part of the crown, you can see it's got this like fluting. And I think if they would have just got rid of the groove and let the fluting go all the way to this top cap edge, it would be a much easier to manipulate crown. But as it is, it's kind of hard to use it. Now let's flip it over and take a look at the case back, which is maybe my favorite part of this watch. It's got a display case back, sapphire sandwich, and for once there's something you actually want to see underneath this display case back. The rotor is freaking awesome. It's done in black with this 5-pointed star, and if you'll notice, the 5 points on the star line up with the indents in the case back that the opener would fit into to open it. I just think it gives a really neat effect. Very cool. It uses the STP 111 movement, and I've had past experience with that in Zodiac watches, and no issues with performance or timekeeping. In fact, it was very good. But when you're winding this movement, it is the grittiest thing. I've heard people refer to it as feeling like there's sand in there, and it is gritty. So you can see on the time grapher, it is running amazing. It was going from between 0 and plus 2 seconds per day. Really healthy amplitude, 0.4 beat error. But I would say this watch definitely has been adjusted because it's running great. So you can see it's got a lot of in-your-face design elements, from the exaggerated linen dial to the funky indices to the crown construction to the strange mid-case and case-back profile with a black band running through it. I feel like maybe any one of these design quirks would have been great and just the right amount of whimsy that you want without being over the top. But altogether, it's maybe just a little too much for me. On this leather strap, it's coming in at about 88 grams. And taking a look at the specs list, let's see, it's a 40 millimeter case, 48 lug to lug, 13.6 thick. It's got standard 20 millimeter lugs, slightly domed sapphire crystal, running the STP 111 movement with 100 meters of water resistance, and it does have a screw down crown if I didn't mention that before. It is listed as having C1 and C3 lume. I'm assuming that's C3 on the hands, as they're a little bit brighter than the C1 on the indices and dial. Here you can see how it wears on my 7¼ inch wrist. So there it is, guys, the Stella. No, I don't know what it's actually called. It'll be interesting if they come out with a second model, how they differentiate the two, because referring to every watch individually by its color would get a little crazy after a while. We'll just call it the Dress Blues for now. Let me know what you guys think. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure there's people out there who are really into this design. Before I let you go, sneaker check. It's finally getting cold out again, so I can wear my Air Force Ones. Alright, that's it. I'm out. If it's not too much trouble, like, subscribe, and come back next time. Peace.